Hello, welcome to today's Tidy 10 at 10. This is episode 7, and today we're going to be talking about calming the fear of the inner child. We're also going to pick up where we left off, and we left off not Friday because Friday was chapel day, but we left off the day before that, and starting to learn how to calm the fear of the inner child. I hope to say something here each day that helps you feel better, that makes your day better, then that eventually starts to make your life better. I hope you learn some tools that you can use for your inner children to help them stay calm, to help them know that they're safe, to help them know that to reassure them, because a lot of times our inner children are looking for reassurance from everyone around them, and they don't know to trust us and to come to us. So that's what that is about. So we're going to start here. Remember, there are 4 phases to this how to talk to the inner child. Phase 1, calm the fear. Phase 2 is meet the need. Phase 3 is ignite the spark. And phase 4 is speak it out. Now, as we're going through these phases, we are becoming more and more clear of fear, meaning we are raising our vibrational level to a place where what we're desiring in life, we don't have as many desires because we already feel calm and safe and secure and all the things we thought we needed in our life to make us feel that way. We've reached a point where we realize we don't even really need those things. But when we're first starting out, our inner children will say, no, I have to have this, and I have to have it this way, and I have to have that, and I have to have this person, and I have to have that house, and I have to have... So it has all these ideas about how to make itself feel better. And as you're starting to step into the caretaker role, you help it understand. Well, first you have to help it trust you. And then later on, as you climb those phases in your conversations, it will start to see a higher perspective and realize that all the stuff that it thought was so important and that it needed so much and was so life and death really didn't even matter. So let's talk about calming the fear. Okay, so let's start there. All right? When you first start to talk to your inner child, it may offer you so much resistance, meaning nothing you say to it, it won't accept it. It doesn't want to hear it. It resists it. It argues with you. Yeah, but this, and yeah, but that, and what about this, and what is so full of fear and so full of worry that it can't hear anything you say. Okay? So this is the reason that I tell you, when it is in this fearful state, when you're first starting out talking to these 5 inner children, work, home, body, relationship, money, when you're first talking to them, they may not want to hear anything you have to say. They don't trust you. They don't know you. They're used to getting their needs met on their own. They're not connected to you or to God, their source. They work around all that, and they are used to doing it themselves in their way and using the people in their life to make them feel better. And it's not efficient. It's not healthy. And there's a much better way to do this, but they don't know that yet. So that is what you're here to patiently begin to work with them so that they can understand that you are here for them and you are going to help them. Okay? So at first, if you meet a lot of resistance, say you're talking to that relationship inner child, and you say something like, I want you, I love you. They're like, I don't want anything from you. I need this person to act in this way and behave this way and that way. If they do that, then I'm reassured. Then I know I'm safe. Then I know I'm loved. Then I know I'm wanted. So at first you have to start to calm the fear by telling them they are right. You tell them they're right, and you tell them whatever they want to hear. And you may be like, but why would they're my little egos, right? All these are the little egos. And if they're in fear, they're really big egos, okay? They'll become less egoic the more you get them out of fear and more into love. But right now, if they're in deep fear, they won't listen to a word you say. They're very egoic. So a lot of the things they say that they want sound like a big ego. And you're like, why would I feed that? Like, I'm wanting to align more with God. I'm wanting to, because at first, to get them to listen to you and trust you, you have to tell them what they want to hear. Just like a child. If you tell a child, you can't have that, or a teenager, but let's go on up. Usually children will finally give up. But teenagers, they're starting to get a will of their own. They're starting to kind of, learn how to operate in life. You tell them they can't have something. You offer resistance to them, even though from your higher perspective, you know that it's not good for them. But if you tell them they can't have it, what are they going to do? They're going to cling to it even tighter, even if they never really wanted it that bad in the first place, because you're telling them they can't have it. Now they're going to prove you wrong. Now they're going to cling to it. Same thing with your inner child. Now they're not going to let it go. So when you finally drop your resistance as the caretaker and say, okay, you're right. You should have that. You should have that beautiful, shiny new car, because it's going to make everyone look at you. It's going to get you so much attention, and you're going to feel so good. And now I want you to just imagine yourself in it and imagine yourself driving around. That's how you're talking to the child, as you're telling it is right and telling it whatever it needs to hear, allowing it, if it doesn't have it in the physical, allow it to imagine that. Let it play it out in the spiritual plane. Let it play out how that feels to have that thing. And what happens is, when you drop your resistance and they get to have it, then they get to have that thing that they're wanting. And you stop fighting them on it, because you're like, no, that's not good for you. No, that's not good for you. It's like, stop, just stop. You're not going to convince them otherwise. They need to experience it for themselves. The safe way to let them experience it for themselves is just to give it to them in the imagination. I'm not saying let them go out and spend money they don't have. Let the inner children convince you to go. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, okay, if you want that, let's play with that in using the power of the imagination. Let's imagine what that would be like. So say they finally get it. They drop the resistance. They're feeling it's like, okay, she's with me on this thing. We're a team. We're going to get this thing that we want so really bad. And I'm imagining what it'll be like. What starts to happen when that resistance drops, what they want starts to change. And a lot of times they just want it because they think they can't have it. But once they get it, they're like, that really didn't do the thing I thought it was going to do. It really didn't. Yeah, it's like it was kind of an empty thing that I want. I thought it was so going to be so significant and make me feel so good, but actually it just fizzled out. It just didn't last very long. And now I can actually see the truth of it is that thing really wasn't that great after all. So they need to come to it. These inner children that you are managing and you are caretaking need to come to that on their own sometimes. If you're trying to force them to be a certain way, to change their behavior, and they are in control of your actions and behaviors, okay? If you're trying to force them to change, it's not going to work. It just doesn't work. If you're trying to force them to stop eating those cookies and drinking those Diet Cokes, it's not going to work. You have to first start to build a relationship with trust with them by calming them. So, if your inner child is upset about something today, first identify who that is. Work, home, body, relationships, money. What are they talking about? Okay? Then start a dialogue with them and say, talk to me. What's going on? What are you afraid of? And if they're like, whatever, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, I understand. Just stick with them, okay? Stick with them and say, I get it. You don't know me. I've never been here for you before. You've been on your own all this time. You've been doing the best you can. I'm so proud of you and the job that you've been doing. But I'm here now, And I do want to help you. I really do. I want to make you feel calm and reassured. And I know that's my job now. And I do want to help you. And you might feel them as you start to talk to them in that way where you're not trying to force them to listen to you. You're not trying to force them to change. You're in complete and total acceptance of them on every level. They start to feel that. You're like, you accept me. Maybe we can be on the same team. You're not trying to change me. Maybe we can be on the same team. You're not resisting everything I say and do. Maybe we can be on the same team. And once they feel like you're a teammate now, I'm not going to go over. I am going over. Once they feel like you're a teammate, then they start to trust you, and then you can start to influence them. That's it for today. Come back tomorrow, and we'll talk again for episode 8, and we'll talk more about meeting the need. We're going to spend a lot of time on these first 2 of the 4 phases because it takes a minute for them to start to trust you. You're not going to be able to ignite that spark and to speak it out until we get this part down. Until they start to relax and trust you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time for another Tidy 10 at 10.